Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So as you might be able to tell, it's quite nasty outside, but I've made it to my destination. As you can see, I got all my kit behind me, my pack, and the tent for tonight. So this camp's gonna be a little bit different than normal. I was originally planning to do a canoe camp and actually canoe to this area right behind me, but it's been raining nonstop since last night, and it's supposed to continue through today, through tonight, and through tomorrow. So I wasn't too keen on putting together the canoe outside, then getting in it, and then having to paddle a couple miles in this kind of weather. So I was able to drive to this spot. The area I'm intending to camp is going to be back that way. It's not too far. So I've parked here and I'm going to hike the rest of the way up the hill and try to find a spot to pitch this very large hot tent. But it should be a comfortable camp and I'm looking forward to it. So let's get going. Well, it's a bit wet. So this is the intended area. As you can tell, it's a bit windy up here actually. So I may try to just hike down here a little bit and see if I can find a bit more of a sheltered spot. You know what though? It's so close to the river. I don't know if that'd be a good idea. As I said, it's been raining for a while and we've actually already had flooding this year. I can see it's actually pretty high. It looks like there might be a spot down there, but I don't even know if that'd be big enough. And the water level's already coming up a good ways. So up here might be my best shot. Luckily this tent is pretty beastly. I think it's like 6 10mm poles. So even if there is a little wind, it should be okay. There is actually a spot over here, which I think they use over the summer with bell tents that you can rent. So I might go down there and check that out as well. Do need to make a decision quick though, because luckily I'm completely covered, but it's wet and uncomfortable and windy. Jeez. Whoa. Take a little bit of cover behind this tree. Whew. It is nasty. I think I'm going to, I don't know, pitch somewhere over here. The hill kind of slopes down, but there's a somewhat flat spot, so it'll give me a little bit of shelter. It's not supposed to get crazy windy, but 15 miles per hour, just more of a nuisance. But with the hot tent, I'd rather have a little bit of shelter, just so the stovepipe doesn't get blown around. It does seem to be easing up, so I'm going to take advantage of this and get moving and get the tent up as soon as I can. Keep it from blowing away on me. Whew, that guy spooked me. Some guy drove up in his pickup truck. Yeah, I guess it's the landowner's friend. Thought I was crazy up here camping. He was just letting me know he forgot to open the gates for me, but as you saw in the video, it wasn't a big deal. But some of the nicest people, I swear, in this country. I've met so many nice people. So many nice landowners in this area as well. Back to putting up this beast of a tent. hands are so wet they're slipping on me. Oh, got it. Not gonna lie, I'm struggling a little bit to get this thing up in the wind by yourself when everything's already wet. It's and windy. It's a bit of a challenge. Yeah, once you get these initial 3 poles in, it's a lot easier, but doing that in the wind was a bit challenging. But as you can see, these stakes are no joke. This thing isn't going anywhere. Despite the rain, it sure is pretty area out here. Stop this flapping around so much. So this portion right here, it's just there's a space in the middle there where snow or rain could collect. And so it's just kind of a cap that keeps it from collecting on the top there, which is kind of a smart feature. Gonna open up all the vents. These mesh panels are you can completely open as well, but I won't be doing that for obvious reasons. But these are nice in the rain. You got 3 of them to vent. There she is, sturdy as a tank. So there are guy line loops everywhere, but I just want to get in the tent. So if there's a break in the rain, I'll just come out and guy it out. But I actually don't even think it needs it. Like I said, this is 6 10 mil poles. It's not even moving in the wind now. So pretty awesome. All right, time to get in and get some of these wet clothes off. Everything is soaked. So you can see, it's got actually 3 doors, each with mesh as well. So this thing can be super airy if you want it to be. I'm gonna get settled a little bit, get the footprint because the ground's soaked as well. So hopefully this camera is not fogging up. My other camera is fogging up. Just wanted to kind of give you an idea of the space in this thing. This is the Dome 4 Pro from Pamali. Super excited to use it. It does have a footprint, which I'm gonna go ahead, get out and put that up now. I do have wood with me. As you can see, there's nothing around here. I mean, there's some trees where I'm at, but there's not enough to get. And this is someone else's land, and I'm not gonna be cutting any dead wood from trees. So I did bring wood with me, and that was the plan anyways. I was always gonna bring it in the canoe. I'm gonna hike back and get that, and get my storm lantern, which I left in the car as well, and then bring that back when it's time to get the stove going. But for now, I'm gonna make it a little bit more comfortable. I'm gonna do a dry area in the back here and then a wet area in the front. So I'm gonna put up half of the footprint for now, and then start organizing things and get a little bit more cozy in here. To mitigate some of the steam, I'm going to, which will probably get better once I get the footprint up, I'm gonna just go ahead and keep this door open for right now. The wind's actually coming from behind me and it's blowing this way. So even keeping it open, not much is actually getting in the tent. So I'm just gonna do that for right now. Oh yeah, I can already feel the cool air coming in. It's gonna help a lot. So it actually has a, there it is, a heat resistant portion. So this is actually gonna go where the camera is by the stove, and it just clips in place. Oh yeah, this is great. Take this off. Oh, I'll put my bag over here now. Much better. As you can hear, it's not raining much at all right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that hike back to the car and grab the firewood for tonight. Then we'll go ahead and set the stove up and get really cozy. Such a pretty spot. So as you can see, I'm not too far from the car. I would definitely consider this car camping. I really don't like car camping, but if I can do it when no one else is out here, then that's okay with me. I got in contact with the landowner because he actually does let people camp here over the summers, but he said it was closed. But he then said it was okay with him if it was okay with me, that I could be out here by myself. And I was like, that is perfect. Because that's my biggest complaint with car camping. Typically I like to get a hike in, and that's part of the fun, but my biggest complaint with car camping is that when you're car camping, it's usually around other people, which, I don't know, is just not for me. I do not want to see anyone else when I'm out here. Luckily, this is an incredible area. I mean, right by the river over this hill, and there's nothing around, which is super nice. So you do feel like you have a little bit of privacy. I probably could have tried to drive the car up further, but it's a little squishy, so I didn't want to risk actually getting stuck. So I just parked over here by the gate to this field. It's nice because I wouldn't have been able to harvest any wood. Like I said, there are some trees, but I'm not gonna cut down, and some of them are dead, but I'm not gonna cut down anything like that. So I brought wood. Go ahead and take off all the wet stuff. If you don't have yourself a pair of waterproof trousers, I highly recommend it. Makes things way more comfortable when you're getting rained on for a while. There we go. A lot better. We've got something else to make this even cozier. This is a beast of a pack, but it's great for trips like this. I just need to pack a lot. This is food for tonight, a couple beverages, but this is what I want to show you. So this is, God, what is this thing called? I bought it years ago. It's called the Fjallraven, oh my goodness, Hornskoldvik. I don't know. It's basically a wax canvas ground sheet with a wool lining on the other side. You don't typically see this in camps because I don't use it for any of my solo trips because it's, you know, it's got some weight to it. But for things like canoe camps or if I have a polk, but mostly when I'm with the family, especially in the summers when we go for like picnics, this thing's just super nice. So I'm going to use that today as my area rug. So it'll just be a nice cozy warm spot to sit since this tent is so large. Time to get the stove up. Try to unravel the stovepipe out the door. That way I don't have to stand out in the rain again since I already took off all my waterproofs. And all you have to do is slide the rings on. It's nice if you're not using it as a hot tent. It has a zip cover that covers it as well, so you can use this without the stove. which is nice. Which is probably actually how I'm going to use it with my family when we camp together. It's starting to pick up a little bit, so I'm going to have to close the store. But I do need to process some of this wood. Some of these pieces will definitely fit in there, but a lot of them will not. So I'm not going to do all of that right now. I'm going to wait until there's a bit of a break in the rain. So I'm going to go ahead and stack it now just to get a bit more organized. So this rain is getting in now. Just separate the pieces that don't need to be chopped from the pieces that do need to be chopped. This is a lot easier than having to find it and process it, which is most of the work of hot tent camping. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get the fire started, and the rain hasn't stopped. So I'm just going to remove one of the corners here and just create a space big enough that I can chop up some of this wood without damaging the tent. I need to put one of these underneath as a base. Someone asked me about this axe on my recent post. This is a Husqvarna. It's a super affordable, cheap axe. I think it's a 2-pound head, if I'm not mistaken. I bought it years ago. I've just never felt the need to go for a Gramford Brooks or a fancier axe because it still sharpens up just fine and it just works. So I just haven't felt the need to upgrade. I do this at home all the time next to the fireplace. If I need to build a fire, I can just knock up a few pieces real quick with it. It's a good size. I like the shape. I like the weight of the head. I think it's a great little splitter for a hatchet. If a piece of gear works and it's not expensive, no need to upgrade. Just keep using it. It's just a tool. Tents, on the other hand. I really love tents, so I'll spend my money on those. Alright, I think that's a good start. It's chilly. I'm going to go ahead and get the fire going and make myself a tea. Nice and simple. It's still raining, but I just wanted to come down real quick to see how the river was doing. I'm just up there on the top of the hill. This is where I was actually planning on bringing the canoe up, right around here. But as you can see, the water's risen already. What a wet and nasty day. It's kind of nice. You can walk around in here a little bit. Can't stand up completely, but it's got some head height. So, I actually own a couple camp chairs. You never see them, and probably really won't see them in most of my videos because I don't typically backpack with them unless I'm backpacking with someone or if I'm with the family. But since I am not that far from the car, I was happy to carry the bit of extra weight to be extremely comfortable tonight. Well, how cozy is this? It is a really comfortable chair. I never really use it though. At least, you know, like I said on videos. It's a little bit nicer too because I'm up higher, so I'm getting a bit more warmth from the stove since it's such a big tent. Yeah, this is great. I think it's time for some bigger pieces. While that gets going, I'm going to go ahead and use this up here So this is like a little gear storage, but I believe the intention of it, since it is a hot tent, would be a great place to actually dry gear. So my pack cover and all that stuff, I'm just gonna go ahead and place it up here just to go ahead and dry things out a bit. Drinking turmeric tea today. It's just a tea I like during the colder months generally. Have I ever looked this comfortable on a camp? This is so nice. Oh man. I would consider this glamping though. When you have easy access to things like your car, even though I had to hike up onto this hill, it's not very far, so it's nice that I'm far enough away where it doesn't quite feel like I'm car camping, but I have the convenience of going back to the car if I want to. But I could have done all of this with the canoe. This is exactly what I was going to bring with the canoe. There are a couple little items extra that I brought, because I actually had room in my 72-liter pack. But yeah, it would have been nice because I could have paddled up to the, just to the base here and then, you know, came up. This is nice too. I wouldn't have wanted to sit in the boat for a couple hours and then have to do everything I did when I got here. That wouldn't have been very fun. Getting a nice coal base now. About 30 minutes until sunset, so I'm going to go ahead and start making dinner. So today I'm going to be making something that I would not make on a normal backpacking trip. So I'm going to be making buffalo wings tonight. This is definitely not something I would normally do backpacking just because it's super messy and you'd have to deal with all the bones. Much easier to do it when I have a bit more kit with me. Before I get the wings on, the first thing I'm going to do is actually make the buffalo sauce and the blue cheese dressing. I have Frank's hot sauce. I wasn't able to get the Frank's buffalo wing sauce, which I do like, but it's super simple to make your own buffalo wing sauce, so I'm going to go ahead and do that with Frank's, which is one of my personal favorites. Just came out of the tent real quick to get a look outside. It is gloomy out. Really nice spot though. A nice view when it's light out. So cozy. Love buffalo wings. Unfortunately, I have not found a place here in the UK, locally at least, that I like. Alright, first bite. Oh my goodness. That is so good. Wow. I haven't done it in a pan like that before. Usually I do it in the oven. But adding a little sauce, cooking it in, adding a little sauce, cooking it in, made a huge difference. Wow. Can't have buffalo wings without a beer. Dry January is over. Alright. Today I'm drinking a Heathen Hazy IPA from Northern Moon. Oh, fantastic. Okay. I'm not gonna eat in front of you. It's gonna be a little bit messy too, so I'll get back with you a little bit later. Really enjoying this camp. So full disclosure, I did not buy this tent. After my last hot tent camp, Pamali DM'd me and asked me if I wanted to try one of their new tents. This is the X4 Dome X4 Pro, and I actually said no. I'd say 99.9% that I get offered by companies, I just say no. And that's primarily because I don't get to go camping as much as I'd want. I've said it before, once or twice a month. So I typically like to use the gear that I like to use, and I'm not interested in selling or being a commercial for a company. I don't want you guys to ever feel like I'm trying to sell you something. So typically I just say no. Pamali's actually the first company that I said yes to. But I was really happy with the stove hut when I did that camp. And I've been wanting a bigger tent, family tent. So I said no
at first, but then I was thinking about it, and I had remembered seeing something similar. Not this tent. This is the X4 Pro. I saw the Dome X4 a while back, and I was actually thinking about purchasing it as a family tent. This X4 Pro is a bit different because it has these basically mesh panels all the way around. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 giant mesh panels, 3 of these panels, and then 3 doors that are all mesh as well. So it's got a ton of ventilation, and I thought this would be an actually really great family tent, especially for car camping, which is what I do with my family. For years we've been using a old, I don't even know the name of it, it's a North Face 4-person tent. It's a backpacking tent, it's an inner pitch first, and it's been fine for us. We took the kids even when they were babies in that tent, but as my kids have gotten a little bit older, we do need a little bit more space, so I was looking at a tent like this. So I thought, you know what, because I told them I wouldn't use it, because typically I do backpacking, but I said, you know what, I could probably do a car camp or canoe camp. If I wanted to pull a polk, which I don't usually get the opportunity to do that here because we don't get enough snow, this tent would be fantastic for it. So I was like, okay, yeah, and they sent it to me. Pretty happy with it so far. This is 100% going to be our new family tent, definitely. Or if I camp with another person, or if I'm canoe camping and I know I'll have enough space, even though I didn't get to see any mountain views on this trip. Getting to listen to the rain and sit in a chair next to a warm fire, it's pretty fun, not gonna lie. Alright, enough rambling. I'm gonna shut up. I'm just gonna sit here, relax, have another beer, and just listen to the rain. I'll catch up with you guys, I guess before I go to bed. Oh, the camera's so far away and the chair is so comfortable. This has been one of the coziest nights I've had out camping in a while. I'm going to be using the Nemo Tensor Extreme pad again. We'll see if I have any of the cold spots I had the last time I used it. They went away after the pad warmed up, but yeah, it was still a little weird to feel it in the beginning. Has not let up at all. So, because I know someone's gonna ask me, I've been having a really good look around the tent just to see if there's any leaks or anything anywhere. And the only place I've seen something is this tie out point right here. So you can see, even though it's taped, water is being absorbed by the line. As you can see, it's wet and it's dripping down right here. Not a big deal. I mean, this is, like I said, this tent is gargantuan, so it's only in the side right there. All the other ones are fine. Even the one on the opposite side's fine. It's this one right here. But that's it. Everywhere else, completely dry. Good so far, and it's been raining 7 hours. So yeah, not bad. It's been raining pretty much the entire time, and for the last hour it's been raining really heavy. For whatever reason, that one loop is absorbing water. I've actually had this before. I had it with my Hilleberg Una. The pullouts for the front door did the same thing, so I just put a little wax on the actual outside cordage and then seam sealed it, and it took care of the problem. So I'll probably do the same thing with this one, or I won't. I don't think, actually I probably won't. Like I said, the tent's so big it doesn't even really matter. So it's been a couple hours, maybe a few hours since I've talked to you guys. It's been raining nonstop. Super nice, actually. This has actually probably been one of the more enjoyable camps I've had in a while. This is mostly maximum relaxation. I didn't even have to go harvest the wood myself. I just lugged it up here. It's been raining nonstop, which is really nice to hear. This tent's like having a studio apartment. So much room. I could stand up and stretch my legs if I want. So I've really been enjoying it. But it's getting late, so I think I'm going to head to bed. It's supposed to rain throughout the night. I think at 3 a.m. it's supposed to stop and then pick back up again around 5. So most likely I'll be packing away everything in the rain. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video so far. Just going to lay here, relax, probably stoke the fire one more time, and yeah, just listen to the rain and go to bed. I'll catch you in the morning. Good night. Good morning. It's gotten chilly again. I let the stove die down around midnight, maybe. We got a ton of rain last night. It's rained a little bit off and on this morning, but it hasn't rained in a little bit. You almost forget how cold it is outside when you're in the tent long enough. Had a fantastic night of sleep, though. Listening to the rain was really nice, and the Nemo Extreme pad did extremely well. It was really warm last night. I could actually, as soon as I laid down, I could feel the heat radiating off of it. Granted, the ground is cold, but it's not frozen like it was on the last camp, so definitely going to have to do some further testing, but it was extremely warm and comfortable last night. Alright, I'm going to get a coffee on, and then I'm going to need to start pack it up. Oh, I went outside to go use the toilet. It started raining on me. Not ideal. And the fire started to go out as well. The fire went out. Look at that. That is awesome. So I was really hesitant to use one of these at first just because I didn't really feel it was necessary. I've used the pump sacks that come with these Nemos for years and they work just fine, but this little guy, it's so tiny. Yeah, it's convenient to pump it up, especially when you're in a tight space, but you know, when it has multiple uses, being able to like turbocharge the fire, or what I find this to be the most useful for is not actually inflating the pad, which, you know, obviously that's useful, but deflating it. This Nemo pad, watch this. So once I deflate the pad, it actually holds the air, I guess because they've changed the layers inside. So you actually have to squeeze the air out, which is super annoying, and it makes it so it doesn't pack down as good. But what I've found is just flipping it over and actually using it to deflate, it sucks the air out of the pad and gets it super flat, which makes it way easier to roll. It's not a big deal with the other Nemo that I use, because that just dumps all the air and goes flat. This one doesn't, so you actually have to push the air out. So being able to suck the air out is really nice. is getting toasty. All right, just gonna finish my coffee, watch the fire die out, and hopefully by the time that's all done, I can get a break in the weather to take down the tent. I imagine this thing's going to be quite heavy because it's poured all night long. The river did flood, by the way, while I went out to the toilet. I'll show you guys that when I step out again. So I'm glad I didn't pitch near the water. It flooded as expected. We got so much rain. The field actually off in the distance is now a pond. So we got a lot of rain last night. Yeah, it's fun to be able to use some of the gear that I don't usually get to use on the channel. Well, this is going to be awful. Oh man. I feel like it's raining harder than it was yesterday. Alright, bags packed, covered. I just got to get my waterproofs on. The stove has still not completely died out yet, so that's, I'm going to have to wait a tiny bit. Hopefully it stops. But at least when it does, I'm ready to go now. I thought there was a leak in the tent, and then I realized this is actually coming from underneath. The ground I'm sitting on is puddling up a lot. Only in this area though. There must be a divot here. Remember that field yesterday? It's a pond now. Yeah, this is the area where I was planning on pitching. Definitely glad I didn't do that. This thing is so nasty. It's great in the weather, but the only thing that's going to be a pain, cleaning and drying these things. Because I don't have a place big enough to set up this tent, and it's supposed to be raining the next couple days. So I'm going to have to try to hang it up in the garage and then maybe just throw this outside to get rained on. Hey sheep. Oh, I'm so happy it's not raining right now. It's getting hot. All these waterproofs. Good timing. The rain's starting again. All right, leave no trace as always. Just a bit of mud. Yeah, I imagine we're gonna see more flooding this weekend. I don't know if you can tell off in the distance there. That's actually a field, which looks like a lake. So yeah, quite a bit of rain yesterday and last night. In any case, really fun camp. Haven't done something like this in a while. Typically, as I said earlier, I don't like car camping. This was a nice compromise because I had the place all to myself, and it doesn't really look like a car camping site except down there for the glamping. But yeah, it was pretty nice.
and I got to bring all the stuff I was gonna bring on the canoe trip. So for the next video, I'll probably be in the Lake District or Snowdonia, back in the mountains. So until then, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. Please like, share, get outside. Later.